Be real, how bad do you actually want it? Because wanting it, everybody says they want success. Everybody talks like they're hungry. But let's be real, how bad do you actually want it? Because wanting it when it's easy, that's nothing. Wanting it when you're fired up, motivated, and everything's going your way, that's nothing. The real question is, do you want it when it's hell, when it's boring, when it's painful, when no one's clapping, when it feels like nothing's working and everything's against you? That's where winners are made. Not in comfort, not in motivation, but in discipline, in pain, in silence. Most people quit when it gets hard. They fold when pressure hits. Because they only liked the idea of winning, they weren't ready to bleed for it. But the ones who rise, they don't need applause, they don't need easy, they don't even need a guarantee, they just need the fight. They're not driven by hype, they're driven by hunger. They show up broken, they show up tired, they show up when nothing makes sense, and they keep going anyway. So yeah, everybody wants to win, but only a few are willing to suffer for it, to struggle for it, to bleed for it. So I'm asking you straight up, how bad do you really want it? Wanting it is easy. Working for it is different. Everybody wants the prize. Everybody wants to be the king. Everybody wants to stand at the top and yell, I made it. But let me ask you this. Who's willing to bleed for it? Who's willing to go through hell and not complain once? Who's willing to wake up tired, sore, stressed, and still show up with fire in their eyes? Because wanting it, that's the easy part. Talking about it, child's play. Anyone can wish. Anyone can fantasize. Anyone can look at someone else's success and say, I want that too. But the difference, the separation, the line between the average and the alpha, it's not desire, it's not dreams, it's the pain you're willing to endure. They want the body, but not the discipline. They want the six-pack, but not the 6 a.m. workouts. They want the physique, but can't skip dessert. They fold the moment it's not convenient. They want the business, but can't survive a year of losses. They want the income, but don't want the hours. They want the glory, but not the grind. They want to build empires, but panic when they face a setback. They want success, but only on their terms. Only if it's fast, only if it's easy, only if it comes without suffering. But here's the reality. Success doesn't care how you feel. Success doesn't care about your mood. Success bows to effort, not excuses. You either do the work or you don't. There's no middle, there's no in between. Because life doesn't reward attempts. It rewards execution. You say you're hungry? Prove it. When it's raining, when it's freezing, when your friends are partying and you're grinding in silence. You say you want to be great? Then show me the scars. Show me your battle wounds. Show me what you're willing to give up when it's inconvenient. That's where the real ones shine, in the trenches. The gym is empty when it's early. The office is quiet after midnight. The work isn't glamorous, it's repetitive, it's uncomfortable, it's lonely. But that's the cost of greatness. That's the price of domination. You think champions are born? No, they're built through pain, through pressure, through days where everything inside of them screamed quit, but they didn't. Because they were obsessed. Because they were different. Because they didn't chase comfort, they chased growth. Listen to me. There will be days when you want to quit. Days when your body says stop. Days when your mind starts lying to you. It's too hard. It's not worth it. No one's watching. But you know what separates the few from the many? The few don't care if no one's watching. They don't care if it hurts. They don't care if it's unfair. Because they're not doing it for applause. They're doing it for legacy. So the next time you say, I want this, don't say it with your mouth. Say it with your discipline. Say it with your grind. Say it with your consistency when no one's looking. You think it's about motivation? You think it's about inspiration? number. It's about repetition. It's about repetition. It's about repetition. Over and over, day after day, when it's boring, when it's brutal, when it's quiet. Because hunger isn't loud. It's not noise, it's action. Hunger is waking up before everyone else. Hunger is outworking your competition while they sleep in. Hunger is sacrificing everything comfortable for everything worth it. Hunger doesn't whine, it wins. So now I'll ask you one more time. When you say, I want to be successful, what are you actually saying? Because if you're not saying, I'm willing to be broke, I'm willing to be misunderstood, I'm willing to be laughed at, I'm willing to sacrifice my social life, my comfort, and my ego, then you're not really serious. You want to rise, you want to dominate, you want to stand above everyone else and say, I built this. Then understand one thing, you won't get there until you fall in love with suffering. Because greatness isn't given, it's earned in silence, in sweat, in sacrifice. And the ones who reach it, they're not the chosen, they're not the lucky, they're the obsessed, the dangerous, the relentless. So stop wishing and start becoming. Now tell me, how bad do you really want it? Hunger is the difference between average and great. Let's get something straight. The world is full of people who could have been something. People with all the talent, all the potential, all the gifts, but they'll never become what they could have been because they weren't hungry enough. They were comfortable. They were soft. They liked the idea of greatness, but not the cost of it. You know what they say? Hard times create strong men. Soft times create weak ones. And hunger is born in the hard times. Talent is a luxury. Hunger is a weapon. Talent says I might. Hunger says I will, or I'll die trying. You see, talent can make you look good on paper. But hunger makes you a savage. The hungry don't wait for motivation. They don't need hype. They don't check who's watching, who's clapping, who's giving them credit. They show up every damn day. Hunger is the internal fire that doesn't dim when the lights go out. It's that restlessness in your soul that whispers you're not done yet, you're just getting started. Hunger keeps you up at night, it makes you obsessed, it makes you relentless. While the world is sleeping, the hungry are working. They're running hills, reading books, shooting shots, writing scripts, building something the average can't even imagine. And guess what? It's not about talent anymore. It's about how far you're willing to go. Are you willing to suffer longer, to grind harder, to outlast, outwork, outfight every soft, excuse-making, comfort-chasing wannabe who says they want it, but folds the moment it gets tough? Because this game, this life, it only respects one currency: sacrifice. Let me tell you something real. There are beasts out there training like their life depends on it. There are wolves out there so damn hungry that they'll outwork, outthink, and outrun anyone in their way. They don't care about your background, your sob story, your dreams. They're coming, and if you ain't as hungry as them, you're gonna get eaten. Hunger is what makes you dangerous. It turns nobodies into legends. It turns underdogs into champions. It turns late bloomers into nightmares for the competition. You ever seen a man so focused, so driven, so locked in that he starts to scare people? That's hunger. He doesn't talk a lot. He doesn't smile a lot. He doesn't waste time gossiping, scrolling, or complaining. He's on a mission. And when you get around someone that hungry, you feel it. You feel the energy, the pressure, the fire. Because the hungry man knows nobody's coming to save him. No one's handing him greatness. No one's giving him anything. He has to take it. And to take it, you need hunger. Not wishful thinking, not daydreams. Real, gritty, savage level hunger. While they're chilling, you're climbing. While they're partying, you're plotting. While they're quitting, you're building. That's the gap. That's the separator. That's where the average tap out and the elite level up. So ask yourself this: Do you just like success, or are you hungry for it? Do you just want change, or are you willing to go through hell for it? Because hunger is what makes you do the boring work, the ugly work, the lonely work, the unrewarded, unseen, unsexy work for years. And guess what? The ones who win, they live there. They set up shop in the trenches. They embrace the grind. They fall in love with the suffering because they know pain is the toll you pay for greatness. So if you've been wondering why you're stuck, why you're average, why nothing's moving, here's your answer. You're not hungry enough. Because the moment you get hungry, really hungry, you don't wait anymore. You don't wish anymore. You don't talk anymore. You move. You take the stairs while they wait for elevators. You train while they sleep. You build while they scroll. You become the kind of man who looks back at the struggle and says, yeah, I went through hell, but I came out harder than iron. You want the crown? You better be ready for the war that comes with it. Because this game is simple. If you don't have the hunger to dominate, you'll get dominated. So don't ask for permission. Don't cry for sympathy. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Just get up, get hungry, and get after it like your life depends on it. Because it does. Comfort is the enemy. Stay hungry. You want to know what buries more potential than failure ever could? What ends more careers than defeat? What kills more ambition than rejection or criticism ever will? Comfort, that soft pillow, that warm bed, that fake peace that whispers, take it easy. You've done enough, you're better than most. But here's the truth, comfort is a killer. It doesn't take your life overnight, it rots your edge from the inside out. Quietly, slowly, without a sound. You stop chasing, you stop stretching, you stop evolving. And before you know it, you're just a shadow of the beast you used to be. Still breathing, but not alive. Comfort is where greatness goes to die. It's a padded coffin. You think you're safe there? You think you're resting? You're rotting. Because when you're comfortable, you stop earning it, you stop bleeding for it, and that's when you lose it. I don't care how far you've come. I don't care how high you've climbed. If you're not still hungry, you're not growing. You're dying. The grind doesn't end when you win, it begins. Because when you reach the top, that's when the real monsters come out. That's when the world starts trying to pull you down. That's when the wolves start circling. And if you don't stay sharp, if you don't stay hungry, you'll get eaten. You see, hunger isn't about where you are. It's about who you are. A real savage stays hungry even when he's winning, even when the money's good, even when the praise is loud, even when he's got every reason to slow down. He doesn't, because he knows what it took to get there, and he knows what it'll take to stay there. He trains like he's still broke. He works like he's still doubted. He grinds like he's still invisible. Because comfort might be nice, but comfort doesn't build legacy. Comfort doesn't build warriors. Pain does. Pressure does. Relentless consistency does. You want to be elite? Then you've got to stop chasing easy. You've got to stop needing to feel good all the time. Start choosing discomfort. Choose the pain. Choose the suffering. Because that's where the edge is. That's where the power is. The world doesn't hand out greatness. It forces you to bleed for it. You don't get stronger sitting on the couch. You get stronger under the bar when your arms are shaking and your body's begging you to quit, and you go one more rep. That's hunger. You don't build grit when everything's working out. You build it when the plan falls apart and you keep moving anyway. That's hunger. You don't develop greatness in the spotlight. You build it in the dark when no one's clapping, no one's watching, and you still refuse to stop. That's hunger. Comfort is the enemy of excellence. So don't you dare get soft. Don't you dare pat yourself on the back too early. Don't you dare stop climbing because the view looks nice. You're not done. You're just getting started. You think Kobe stopped grinding after his third ring? You think Muhammad Ali eased up because the world called him the greatest? Hell no. They trained like they still had everything to prove. Because the second you let your foot off the gas, the second you get too comfortable, you lose the edge. And without the edge, you're just another name, another story that started strong and faded. So here's the challenge. Stay hungry. Even when you win, stay hungry. Even when they cheer, stay hungry. Even when the money's coming in, stay hungry. Never confuse rest with quitting. Never confuse celebration with completion. You're not here to be good, you're here to be undeniable. You're here to be feared. And that requires sacrifice. That requires you to wake up with war in your chest. It requires discipline, ruthlessness, focus. You don't stop when it's hard. You
drive north. Then what?
Because this world, this life, it doesn't hand out trophies to the talented. It hands out rewards to the relentless, to the ones who refuse to settle, to the wolves who never stopped hunting, to the warriors who chose suffering over softness. Comfort is the enemy. And hunger is the fire that turns men into legends. So here's the final word. Don't let success make you soft. Don't let progress make you passive. Don't let praise put you to sleep. Burn the comfort, feed the hunger, and earn it every single day. When it hurts, keep going. That's the test. You want to know who wins? Who actually makes it to the top? It's not the smartest, not the most talented. It's the one who refuses to fold when everything screams, quit. Because here's what nobody tells you. There will be days when life will punch you in the mouth and then dare you to get back up. Days where nothing makes sense. You're doing everything right, putting in the hours, staying disciplined, focused. But the results are invisible. You feel stuck, you feel drained, and your mind whispers, maybe this isn't for you. And that, right there, that is the breaking point for most. They back off, they shrink, they retreat to comfort, to excuses, to safety. Because pain makes cowards out of the weak. But you were never meant to be one of them. You were never designed for average. You were built different. You were born for the war. So here's the truth. Pain is the toll you pay to become a savage. You say you want greatness, then prove it when it's not glamorous. Prove it when no one's cheering you on. Prove it when you're tired, when your body's broken, and your mind's begging for an escape. That's the test. That's where legs feel like concrete, and your eyes are burning from lack of sleep. But you still show up, not just physically, but with full fire. That's when the game changes. You've got to learn to fall in love with the pain. Embrace it, let it carve the weak parts out of you. Because the version of you that gets everything you want, he's buried under layers of comfort, distraction, and fear. And the only way to reach him is to suffer. There is no shortcut. Hack. You for this, you become a monster. Because when you learn to push through pain, pain becomes fuel. It becomes proof that you're getting stronger, proof that you're still alive in the fight. And let's get one thing straight. You don't rise when you feel good. You rise when you feel broken, tired.
Drive north, then turn right.
Anyway.
Drive south, then turn right.
Few are willing to crawl through hell to get it. And that's why most people settle. Because they can't handle the discomfort. They can't handle the loneliness. They can't handle grinding with no guarantee. But you're different. You don't need a guarantee. You don't need a round of applause. You don't need validation. You just need the mission. You need the fire. You need the hunger. You need the pain. Because that's where your edge lives. That's where you get sharper, harder, more dangerous. So don't fear the pain. Fear what happens if you avoid it. Fear what happens if you give in. Because if you quit now, you'll spend the rest of your life haunted by the version of you who could have been unstoppable. Your future is not built on feelings. It's built on decisions. And in the dark moments, when nobody's watching, when the weight feels unbearable, you make one. I don't quit. Not now, not ever. Let the others fold. Let them complain. Let them blame the world. You dig deeper. You go further. You burn the excuses, the doubts, the fear, and you turn them into fuel. Because one day they'll ask you, how did you do it? And you'll smile and say, I didn't quit when it hurt. I kept going. That's the difference. In the end, it won't be the most talented that rise. It'll be the ones who wanted it more, the ones who stayed hungry when others got comfortable. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need anyone to believe you. You just need that fire inside. That voice that says, keep going, we're not done yet. Because at the top, there's no room for doubt, only hunger. If you're one of the few still watching, smash that like, hit subscribe, and drop hungry to win in the comments to prove you stayed locked in till the very end. You're not chasing hype, you're chasing legacy. Stay hungry, stay dangerous. Your time is coming.